Personal Correspondence. Composed by Ren Kobo, Master of Commerce, 9th Skiff of Sunray Flotilla, Spring 4441 CR. I write, my dear sunfish, to tell you of the valley, in the hopes that you may be tempted to join me in my pilgrimage next season. The valley isn't a valley so much as a lot of valleys, and fields and forests, encircled by mountains. It stretches from these highland meadows in the north, all the way down to the edge of the southern range, where the mouth of the valley opens to the Verdessa. There's a waterfall there so tall and beautiful, it'll take your breath away. The valley's sheltered by mountains on 3 sides, and the widest and deepest jungle you'll ever see on the 4th. The ancestors of the valley dwellers found their way here by way of the Bitter Pass. They journeyed west to White Sky Lake, then followed the Silverfin River down until they came to a mounded green island. They were drawn there by the biggest spike of nano-forged carbon I've ever seen, so tall it can scrape the clouds on a stormy day. The people decided to settle there, or rather, the land invited them to settle there, so they did. They call the village Spire. In the last 100 years, they've spread out and welcomed more than a few travelers, such as myself, from afar. Spire's the center of civilization in the valley. But there's also White Sky, the fishing village perched in the middle of the water on the southern end of the lake. The fresh, seared lake fish they serve there every waning gibbous is amazing. Further south, the valley opens up into grassland and forest. You'll find more settlements down there if you stick to the path. Meadow is a herding community, mostly rearing iron wool sheep and stilt horses. Branch is tucked into the deeper woodlands. In fact, their homes are built into the canopy and around the trunks of the dolewood trees. You could walk through the forest for days and never realize there were people above your head. It's something else. The shapers who bent the fiber of the trees there are true luminaries. At the far southern end of the valley, the land drops off in a series of cliffs down to the Great Basin and the Verdessa beyond. There are people who live at the edge of the falls. Tumble down, they call it. The people there stand watch over the Verdessa, while the Verdessians, I'm told, stand watch over them. And of course there's the monastery, way up in the mountains to the east. I have yet to travel there, and I may never will. The floating tower is for those who want to follow the Shaper's path, and they prefer a certain amount of solitude for their studies. The crown jewel, though, is Lone Tree Station, where the valley's rangers live and work, a tree that is nearly the size of a mountain, festooned with domiciles, research facilities, meditation chambers, and more. The rangers keep the valley safe, looking out for trouble and helping people wherever they can. They are wonderful human beings. I truly love the valley, which is why I travel here after every thaw. The trading is also quite good, as you know. I will see you when I return to the flotilla. I can't wait to show you what I've bartered for this season. Yours, RK. Hey everybody, it's Pax. We're continuing on with day number 2 in the Lure of the Valley. So I got a decent opening hand here, and we're most of the way through setup. But before I kind of get going too much farther, I guess a general game plan of what I'd like to get done on today is to, if possible, do this quiet quest. And we're going to do that by maybe sticking around in White Sky long enough to talk to the fishermen again. Maybe take that Golden Shore quest and try and get all the way up to Golden Shore really quickly while simultaneously clearing some beings. And if that's biting off more than I can chew, we'll see what happens while we're trying to get Artel. And if that's too much, then it's too much. So as a reminder of what the mission is for Lure here, when a prey is cleared, we're setting it aside. And whenever we arrive at a new location, while there are 5 or more total presence of prey set aside, we go to 1.42. But as a kind of side effect, knock on to that, we do have this crest effect. If there are 2 active predators, exhaust them to return a set-aside prey to the collection. So if there are too many predators prowling around, then the food that I'm trying to get as a trap for quiet gets gobbled up by some baddies. So anyways, let's finish off the setup. Obviously, we set up the player area. I drew my opening hand. I've got an Eagle Eye, a Forted by Nature, an Iron Wool Boots, a Walk With Me, and a Versatile and a Determined. And I'm pretty happy with this opening hand. I wouldn't have minded getting a bit more of my gear, but at least getting the Iron Wool Boots with both of these cheap cards is really nice. And Determined's really good for just getting the hell out of dodge whenever we need to. And of course, Versatile's good for being versatile. Obviously, I'm the lead ranger, shuffled everything, so now we've just got to finish up the setup on White Sky here. which is me drawing one path card of my freshly shuffled deck. This is the Lutrinol Holt. This is a 2 presence area. It requires 4 injury or 2 progress to clear. And it's a focus and connection of coaxing, difficulty 2, the Lutrinols back to their lair. To add 1 lure to this feature, you may discard 1 token from an equipped food to commit 1 effort. And this is clear with progress. Shuffle a Rumping Lutrinol into the path deck for each lure on this feature. So presumably if I can get some lures up here before I clear it, then I get to shuffle a couple guys away. But it does have this mountain effect. Exhaust this feature, search the path deck, and discard for a Romping Lutrinol and put it into play. So we're going to want to clear that as fast as we can. I already read the arrival setup for White Sky, so I'm not going to bother reading that again. And then at the top of the round, I have to draw another encounter card here, and it is Elder Murtok Growl. All right. Now, I don't remember what Elder Murtok Growl told me last time. Is that someone that I cleared yesterday? I don't remember. But nevertheless, it's not bad. I do need to go read 51. So he enters play, 51.3. As you walk along White Sky's outermost platform, you see Elder Murtok Growl leaning out over the railing, eyes focused on the lake. He has a long, thin fishing pole in one hand, casting with quick, practiced motions. He seems distracted, however, staring at the distant shore. Oh, hello, he says. Always good to have rangers on the platforms. His eyes never leave the shoreline. He seems to be looking for something. And this is the guy that gave us the quest to go find Quiet. That definitely gives us something that we're going to want to get done today, if possible, or at least in this round, I mean to say. What I'm going to want to do is play my Iron Wool boots, excuse me. I'm going to shove everything over a little bit. Didn't realize how off everything was on the camera there. There we go. That's a bit better. Yeah, we're just going to want to get that started. The sooner we can get some fatigue soothed, the better. The next thing we're probably going to want to do is clear this Lutrinol Holt, which is pretty reasonable to do. It does have a difficulty of 2, which means that I can try a triple fitness traversal to it, but if I pull the -2, then I burn my whole turn burn my whole turn worth of traversal and take an injury from failing to traverse it correctly. So that's definitely something to be mindful of, I guess. That being said, I could also commit this versatile as an exploration, suffering a fatigue, and then just heal that fatigue by playing either Walk With Me or Eagle Eye in my Iron Wool boots. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do the full effort traversal to there with the with the versatile and taking a fatigue to do so. So I'll be 4 total effort against 2. Now I did get the 0. That's fine. So that places, of course, a full 4 effort on this, which is going to clear it. And when I get that 4 effort, I don't think there's any point in playing. I don't really need to clear Elder Murtok Growl right now. I could clear them with the Walk With Me, but I don't think there's any benefit to doing so aside from, well, I say that. I would like to, it's more that I would like to save this for something more threatening. Not that it wouldn't be beneficial, because, obviously it has this, he has the crest effect where if there's an active predator, you exhaust it and he starts taking damage. And then if an enemy, or if an ally takes too much damage in a single turn, then you have to end the day. So it would be very nice if I didn't have to do that. But I don't think that Walk With Me on him is as useful as doing it another time on someone a bit more impactful. So that being said, I think I am going to play my Eagle Eye, though. It's a 1 awareness to scout the 3 path cards and draw 1 path card. We got the Bubble, the Tributary Stream, and the Romping Lutrinol. Now the Bubble is a location here, and it's a 50 here. It's got a huge amount of health. You need to move your Ranger token to it, and what you have to do is you have to do a fitness and exploration test of swimming 3 down to the underwater dome. Return all of your equipped gear to your hand and move your Ranger token to this feature, and if you fail, suffer an injury. While it's on this card, prevent all fatigue you would suffer from the weather, and if you clear it, which is everyone getting there, you read entry 50 again. So that could be a really interesting thing to keep. And since I'm forced to draw something, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove these 2 to the bottom, leave this one on top, and draw. The Bubble enters play. Standing on the edge of one of White Sky's platforms, you can see through the clear water to the lake bed a good 5 meters down. Nestled among the jagged rocks and mud is what looks like a large bubble of trapped air. You see green within and movement as well. You ask one of the locals, a young boy, if there's anyone in the bubble right now. Just one, he says, not taking his eyes off the bobber on his fishing line. Solaro Mako, the archaeologist, said he wanted to study some of the old archaeology gadgets down there. When you ask when he's coming up, he laughs. No idea. Solaro says the bubble has plenty of food in it. You can stay down there forever. Okay, so that gives us something new to kind of think about whether we want to try it. Obviously, we don't need to do it right now, and also our iron wool boots will have soothed this fatigue for the paths we've roamed before, which is nice, because that gives us some more things that we can shove back into our fatigue pile already and kind of get the iron wool boots thing going on. So the sooner I can get these used up, the sooner I can kind of churn them through. That being said, I don't think there's any harm in attempting to do the 1 value connect here, because if I happen to draw like crests with a 0 or a +1, then I'm going to be able to clear Elder Murtok Grawl and not deal with him anymore. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And there's no negative consequences if that doesn't pay off. So we get the 0 and that. So we only get to put 1 on him, but we don't trigger anything else bad happening. So that's fine. The last thing that we can do, I suppose, is once again using our remembering our training with our 1 focus, and I think I may as well do that. Again, it's not going to be harmful anywhere by the looks of it, so we'll see what we can get off of that. Hey, look, we get a +1. Cool. So we get to look at the top 2 cards of our deck. I'm going to be honest. I don't mind either the Compassionate or the Determined. I kind of like the Determined because suddenly that's putting me in a nice spot to try this bubble test. But it's also a little awkward because this exploration icon's a lot better when it's not tied to a fitness test. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove the Compassionate on the bottom and leave the Determined on top and put it in my hand. With that, remember. And then we have to do Sun Effects, which there are none, and reshuffle the challenge deck. Okay. We don't have any energy left. We don't really have anything more useful to do, so I'm just going to rest. So we'll get our energy back. Draw 1 card. Thorough. Perfect. Oh, you know what? I committed this versatile and I did not read what it says, and I have been failing to do that when I've been meaning to. So this says, ever since you were young, you've found that no skill lies outside your understanding. As a result, you're not afraid to try anything at least once. So I kind of like that one a lot. And I actually really like the Iron Wool Boots. I don't remember if I read that one, but it says, your mother taught you many things as you walked by her side, trekking across the valley and back. But of all her teachings, none were more useful than this. Always wear comfortable shoes. So we're back to the top of the round, which is another path card. And we've got the Fresh Blue Kelpweed, which is a feature and flora and water. It does not have any presence to inhibit us from getting to the bubble, but it does have 3 to clear, and it has this focus and reason to wrap the pungent leaves around a wound, to add 1 injury to this feature, and to either heal an injury from a ranger or discard 2 injury from a being. Now, we don't need to do this right now, but again, it's got this mount an effect that kind of plays against all of the Lutronals in the deck. Now, I know I've put one away, but, you know, there's always more. But what's really nice is that I think I've actually got a pretty good shot at getting to the bubble. The reason being is I can attempt that with that, and then I can toss a determined in it, and that'll put me at a value of 3, because it'll be my base 1 plus 2, because I've got 2 remaining, and then I can just toss another determined into that. Your goal in sight, you draw upon a deep well of inner strength. Your limbs surge with energy, and you know with certainty that there is nothing you cannot accomplish. And so we're going to be trying to do this fitness exploration swim of a difficulty 3 down to the underwater dome. +1. Perfect. So that passes. So we return all of our equipped gear to our hand, and we move our ranger token to this feature. And then this says, while your features on this card prevent all fatigue, you would suffer from the weather. So that obviously isn't happening. I don't have any sun effects in play, and I believe that that means that it's time for me to immediately clear this and read entry 50 again. So clear, if you haven't received the Archaeology mission, go to 50.2. The air inside the bubble is surprisingly still and laden with enough oxygen that you feel as if you've awoken from a deep sleep. In the center of the bubble, you see a disc made of dull gray steel, maybe a few meters across. Someone has laid a bedroll next to it, and that same someone is crouched over the disc, studying it intently. The man looks up from his work and waves. "Welcome to the bubble. Come over here, why don't you?" Solaro shows you the disc, which appears to be stamped with concentric rings of indecipherable text. He also shows you a translation device he's built, a glass plate that, when laid over the text, slowly translates parts of it into something legible. After a long time enthusiastically talking about his work, Solaro gets a thoughtful look in his eye. "You know, there are archaeology ruins all over the valley. If you ever find anything interesting, I'd love for you to bring it by and show me. I can give you one of my translation plates too. That might help in any exploration you do. Gain the Archaeology mission." All right, there it is, and it says, Solaro Mako has asked you to keep an eye out for remnants of his old archaeology for him. After a ruin is cleared, 1.49. After this mission has 3 check marks, find Solaro Mako to continue. So I guess that's just added to the current missions up here in the general display. Last but not least, on day 2, we got I spelled archaeology wrong, but you get the idea. All right, well, that gives us something a little different to kind of work towards, I suppose. Whoopsies. Didn't mean to fling all that around. But that does also mean that I've got to replay this Iron Will Boots now. And I can even get all this back into my fatigue pile if I so desire. And I think I do desire that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use 1 spirit to replay my Iron Will Boots. I suppose I left them by the shore when I went to go do a dive there. And then we're going to use 2 awareness to play the paths we've roamed before. Choose up to 4 total moments or attributes from any number of Rangers' discard piles. Place the chosen cards face down on top of their Rangers' fatigue stack. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the Eagle Eye and a Determined on the very top so that I can get that Eagle Eye back immediately from playing the moment. So that next turn I can kind of keep trying to fetch some characters. Now I do have 2 fitness left, and I do have 1 spirit. So I'm going to try that connect test with Elder Murtok Growl again, and I'm just trying to get rid of him mostly. So it's just 1 against 1, and I got the -2, so that's unfortunate. But oh well, it does shuffle the deck, and none of the red effects are going to be firing off on that, so that's fine. It was either going to place 1 or it was going to place none, so not a big deal. And then next, I think I'm going to try and get rid of this fresh blue kelp weed a little bit, just to kind of get started on it. So I'm going to be 2 against 0, and a +1. That even lets me get rid of it by having 3 effort into that. So that's also no longer something we need to deal with. There's no sun effect. This should have gone down 1 at the start of this turn, which I forgot a while ago, but I don't know. Not a big deal. I guess the only thing, again, left to do is to try and search for a card. And I think I'm only going to do that one more time on this day. And the reason is, towards the end of the last day, I was kind of running a little low on Steam. So I'm going to try to remember my training, see what I get. I got a +1. So again, I get to look at the top 2. I'm getting really lucky with these. The top 2 cards, choose to add 1 to my hands, kind of, put it on top of the deck. And I'm actually pretty happy with both of these cards. This Leaf and the Breeze is really nice to have, to just get the hell out of a location if it's really nasty. And we're going to want that if we are heading up to the northern coast of the lake, because we're going to have to go through a mountain range, and there can be some really nasty things that you're going to want to dodge in a mountain range. So we're actually just going to... Now, do I care which one I get, this turn or next turn? I don't think so. The only thing I need to be a little mindful of is ensuring that I don't accidentally fatigue it and have it not be accessible to me for a little while. To that end, I think I'm going to get the trail mix first. I think that's fine. We'll add that, we'll put those on top, and I'll put that trail mix in the hand. And that way I can make sure that I'm able to get these at a time I'm happy with. So that's that round. There's nothing else for me to be able to do. So we're just going to do the end of round effects. Drawing the next card. I suppose I forgot that I just get that during the upkeep. 1 cloud comes off the perfect day. And at the start of the round, we draw a new path card. And this is a Romping Lutrinol, which is going to fatigue me 1 because he enters play ready. Now, this is where it starts to be a little more frustrating because he is a predator. And so he will start attacking Elder Murtok Grawl if I don't deal with him. Specifically if I draw the crest. So first things first, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use my Eagle Eye again to try and fetch some more useful things out of here. So I'm going to look at the top 3 cards of the Path deck and draw a Path card. And when that's done resolving, I'm going to get a card for my Iron Wool Boots. But let's take a look at what these are first. Romping Lutrinol, Vera the Lake Guide, and a Tidewater Muckets. Now, the Tidewater Muckets can protect Elder Murtok Grawl if I draw that crest, or sorry, if I draw a mountain before I draw the crest. So I think that I'm going to go for them. They also aren't inhibiting me in any way. So I think that's actually a pretty good thing to draw. We're going to put the Lutrinol on the bottom. I'm trying to think. I don't think I saw Vera last time, and maybe we'll just put her underneath the Tidewater Muckets, knowing that we'll draw her next turn. That seems fine to me. And then we'll draw that path card, which is the Tidewater Muckets. And then we'll draw the top card of our fatigued stack, which was just an Iron Wool Boots. But that's nice. That's just an icon, really. That's just... What is that? A conflict, I believe, is the name of that? I keep forgetting what the name of it is. Yeah, it's a conflict. That's going to be the hardest one for me to remember. Exploration, no problem. Connection, no problem. Reason, no problem. Conflict, don't know why. But I think the big thing is actually just going to be getting rid of Dr. Murtok Grawl. Trying to say, hey, all right, that's enough. Thank you, Scooch. And so I'm going to try to connect with him. We're going to be testing 2 against 1. I don't think I have anything I'm really happy to put into this. I could put the Afforded by Nature in, but... Again, I'm not super happy about that. So let's see what we can do. We can get that. We got the 0. The 0 is nice because that turns this to a 3 and that clears him. So we do get to clear him, which reads 51. And I believe the entry for 51 was just that same bit we've been reading over and over where we got quiet, right? Thank you for your help, he says. Now, is there anything else I can do for you? You ask him if there's anything else you can do for the folks of White Sky, and he thinks for a moment. A lot of people have been complaining about the poor fishing around here lately, including myself. I recommend talking to Artel about that. Otherwise, you could always swim down to the bubble and see if Solaro needs help. He'd be happy for the company. As you make to leave, he taps your arm. Also, if you need help getting around the lake, talk to Vera. She may be gruff, but she's the best barge pilot I know. So I guess the one thing that we've got going for us right now is that this Lutrinol is not really threatening to us. He's mostly just chomping down on these Tidewater muckets. And that does give us an opportunity to just use our Undaunted Seeker ability and all of our fitness to kind of walk past him. And we're just going to get that progress down now on a turn that we can. So we'll just give that a go. Testing 3 against 1, dodging him. Yeah, that's it. So -1. Okay, so we only get 2 progress. 1, 2 progress. But that's fine. 2 progress is fine. And then we do our challenge effects, which is Mountain. So Mountain says, if this test added progress, add additional progress. Okay, so I guess we did get a 3. No worries there. And then we have these 2 effects here. If there's an active predator, exhaust it and add damage to this equal to the predator's presence. And then this says if there's an active predator other than the romping Lutrinol, you exhaust it and add damage to equal to its presence to this being. So if there's a bigger predator than the Lutrinol, then you kind of have to do that. But right now, we're all good. Okay, that's everything I can do this turn, I think. So we're just going to go ahead and ready up and draw our card. It's going to get us a Compassionate. That'll be nice to be able to clear this Lutrinol. At the top of the round, I guess this Perfect Day does flip over into Midday Sun. And so Sun is going to be fatiguing us for a little bit, but we do have that Trail Mix, which lets us turn the fatigue basically into card draw. So we get to draw Vera, the Lake Guide, and she is entry 49. 49.3. The woman at the helm of the docked Dolewood longboat has the shoulders that one earns after a life of paddling and pooling the valley's waterways. She nods curtly in your direction. I'm Vera. I make supply runs all over the lake. She thinks for a moment after you introduce yourselves. You know, if you need a ride somewhere around White Lake, I can take you. Just make sure you're ready to go when you call on me. Clear Vera with progress to charter her boat to immediately travel to any location on White Sky Lake. Oh, that's interesting. So presumably, that'll let us travel, like, probably Golden Shore, probably Mount Nim, but maybe not. Maybe the Atrox Mountain. I'm not sure. But that'd be cool, because I think that if I got the fisherman, he wanted to go to the Golden Shore. So that'd be a nice way to get a shortcut there. But that being said, we do have to be a little careful. I guess she's pretty tough. So that's kind of nice, actually, is that she's tough. So if we draw that crest, we have some leeway to avoid getting her knocked out. So this round, I think, just because we've got this progress here, my Afforded by Nature can be used basically at any time just to beat up this romping Lutrinol. But I think that I want to get my Trail Mix into play. So we're going to spend 2 fit to play the Trail Mix. That comes into play with 2 uses on it, which I'm not going to use until my fitness has regenerated here. After that, I think I'm just going to go ahead and use a double awareness to try to avoid the romping Lutrinol. The reason being is I'd like it not to attack Vera if I can. I know it's going to, if I draw those mountains, it's going to try and prioritize the muckets, but I do have to be a little careful about all my fatigue going on and where I don't want this to get out of control is really the main thing. So we'll be 2 against 1, and I do get the +1. So the +1 means that he is exhausted. And then we get the crest effect, which again, nothing here. If there's an active predator, well, it's not active anymore. And if there are other active Lutrinols, it would do something. So guess I'm a little glad that that went the way it did. Give this a little shuffle. And we'll carry on. Now, Vera does take 3 progress just to ask for passage across the lake, and it's a 2 against 2 if I use my a plain connect. And I think I'm actually fine just trying that to see if it fires. I did get a -1, so that is a failure, unfortunately. I suffer fatigue from the midday sun. And if there's an exhausted predator, you ready it and exhaust this being. So unfortunately, not a lot of great progress on that. But I did get to take that test without worry of pulling a crest and damaging Vera, in addition to failing it. So I think that's actually fine. It's not that bad. I think I am going to do one more reason test, focus test to remember my training, to see if I can't just eke out one more little card, fetch. Yeah, okay, a +1. Oh my god, I'm being so lucky on these. I don't need a second trail mix. I just don't really care to see that. But Paths We've Roamed Before gets me a lot of things back in this pile, and it's a moment to start shuffling things back in. So let's put the trail mix on the bottom. We'll leave this on top and draw it. But then we do have to do all these sun effects, so I'll suffer another fatigue. This obviously does not trigger, and this obviously does not trigger. So those shuffle back in. Okay. I don't think I really care to use my focus any longer. That's probably going to start getting a little too risky to do. But I do have this Paths We've Roamed Before, which lets me kind of see what those things I've been fatiguing are with my Iron Wool boots, and then maybe my trail mix will get me a big boost of cards going into the next round. So let's end the round there by resting. Put all that on. We get one cloud in the midday sun. Nothing happens from these guys except him losing that exhaustion indicator. And we draw a new path card, which is a tributary stream. It's the one presence obstacle where we had to soak our feet there or follow the cheerily winding stream. Now, soaking our feet was one that I actually quite liked because it also soothes some fatigue to do it. And frankly, I don't know that this tributary stream focus test of following it is particularly useful, especially after we've already got 3 up there. Did I remember to draw at the end of my turn? I don't think so. So I'll just take that Strider. That's good to have. So first things first, let's exhaust the trail mix and get a use off of it to get 3 cards back from my exhaust pile into my hand. There's Pakoto. That's who we've been looking for this whole time. Hello, mister. I love you, little girl. You're so sweet. Let's get Pakoto into play there. Pakoto is like just obscenely good. Like really, really good. So the nice thing now is that there's quite a lot that I can do. I don't think I'm allowed to travel while there's an obstacle in play, but I think that she might let me travel despite the obstacle. I'm going to take a quick look on that one. So it does say here that if you have an obstacle that you cannot travel, and I'm just going to assume that that's kind of a final thing for this. So I do really want to get some progress on Pakoto so that I can start moving things over to Vera, but I do also really need to get this done. The nice thing that I have just realized here, though, is that I can do the focus test, use my Undaunted Secret to dodge the Romping Lutrinol, and I can use a Determined in this focus test, which, because I haven't used any of my fitness yet, is actually 4 against 2. Now I do get a -1, so it's 3 against 2, but that is successful. That does let me move my token to this feature and add 1 to the location, which is fine. Again, it lets me use my Afforded by Nature at a fairly high value. And then we go through and we look for the mountain effects. So the Tidewater Muckets does allow me, there's nothing here, nothing here. I suppose this clears right away because of the effect that probably clears first. I think I've determined that that's how that works. And then yes, as I was about to say, if there's an active predator, exhaust it to add damage to this equal to that predator's presence, and that's the Tidewater Muckets all eaten up. So goodbye, Tidewater Muckets. Thank you for distracting the Lutrinol for a little bit. So the nice thing now is that if I wanted to, because he's inactive, I can do a fairly big... I can do a fairly big and cheap, actually. 1 fitness and Strider to do a traversal on the location. Now, I'm really just loading this up like crazy, and it's not super necessary, but there's a reason I am doing it. Oh no, I can't afford the reason I would want to do that. I was thinking that I would play a walk with me, but I don't have a spirit to play it afterwards, so I won't be doing that just yet. What I'm going to do instead is, for 1 awareness, play another Eagle Eye. We're going to look at the top 3 cards of the Path deck. We're going to be soothing this fatigue on the Ironwool Boots. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to look at that. What have we got? The Carnivorous Naiad is definitely going on the bottom, as is the Lutrinol and the Kelpweed. And we're going to do it in that order to try and space the Lutrinols out a little bit, but also keep that Naiad as far away from me as possible. And then we're going to draw a Path card, because I didn't really want to draw any of them. And look, there's Artel the Angler. And I only need 2 to get him, but we need to read this entry 48 again. And I think this is the same entry we read yesterday, but that's fine. We don't have the biscuit basket, and we haven't found the perfect fishing spot. So 48.3. Ahead of you, a particularly submerged Estian ruin rises out of the water. Perched atop it, an energetic angler casts a high-arcing line into the lake with a tremendously long fishing pole. The fisherfolk sees you, then reels in the line and flips the pole around. Thrusting the base of it into the water, the angler pushes off from the ruin and uses the fishing rod to vault to the shore, landing on the trail in front of you. No need to step lightly. Fishing's been awful lately. It's like there's not a single fish in all of White Sky Lake. Clear Artel with progress to ask about the poor fishing. And that's just what I would like to do. Now, I don't think I can do it quite this turn. And let's see what we healed from that fatigue. We did get that versatile back, so that's nice. But there's not a whole lot left for me to do this turn, is there? I don't have a location to clear with my fitness. I don't really have... I could just kill this Lutrinol, but I'd almost prefer to save this for another time. No, you know what? I'm just going to save myself the headache. I'm going to go ahead and say, for 3 fitness, I'll pay this afforded by nature. Discard any number of progress from a trail, which is 2 from there, to add an equal number of damage to a being, which will let me get rid of this romping Lutrinol. So that's fine. And then also, after I've played a moment, I get to soothe the fatigue, which is this last determined. So that's nice to have back in hand. And I even have this Paths We've Roamed Before, which I can use to fetch a Paths We've Roamed Before, my Eagle Eyes, maybe even my Afforded by Nature. There's a lot that I can still make happen here quite nicely. So let's shove everyone over a little bit. We'll keep Pakoto off to the side a little. I don't get to add any progress to him this turn, but hopefully I can do that in pretty short order. It's nice that I can add the progress to him with a difficulty of 1 rather than Vera's difficulty of 2. But that's going to be that turn, I think. So we'll just go ahead and clear off my exhaustions, draw my card for the end of a turn. It's my other Afforded by Nature, so I'm actually perfectly fine with having had played that. We'll get 1 cloud in the midday sun, and we'll take a look at our next Tidewater Muckets. Not a big deal to see that now. Okay, so I guess the big thing is that I want to get some progress on Pakoto so that I can put progress out on other characters. And so I'm going to start that off by doing a 1 spirit compassionate on Pakoto, which is 3 against the presence of 1. And this says, you open your heart and feel your consciousness settle into your chest. A great warmth spreads within you as you let fall any armor that may unnecessarily hinder this. The truest of connections, oneself laid bare to another. A ferret. No. All right. Anyways, that's 3 against the difficulty of 1 there. I do get a 0, which is quite nice. So that lets me put 3 progress tokens, and I'm just going to place them in denominations of 1 because Pakoto does kind of move them around quite a bit. That's successful. Are there any active predators in play? No, and there's no other mountain challenge icons in play right now, so that's really nice. And we're going to instantly exhaust Pakoto, discarding 1 from this being to add a use token to an aid card, which is my trail mix, and to add 2 progress to Artel, which lets me clear him for 48 here. So Artel, if we've cleared him, we go to 48.6. Artel harumphs. Not sure what it is, but the fishing's been terrible for weeks. I think something spooked the fish in these parts. I read this last time, didn't I? Did I read this last time? I don't remember. I can feel it. The angler appears contemplative for a moment. Actually, I've been hearing tales of some amazing fishing spots across the lake at the Golden Shore. Maybe all the fish moved up there. Would you be willing to accompany me? I'd sure appreciate an escort. What with the fish spooker hanging around somewhere? The rangers can choose, agree to bring Artel to Golden Shore, remove all progress from him, and attach the Helping Hand mission to him, or not today, discard him and sue the fatigue. So we're going to give that a go, and we're going to bring him to the Golden Shore. So let's get the Helping Hand mission attached to Artel. Okay, so he, I suppose, goes on this Helping Hand mission, or does the Helping Hand mission go on to him? The attached being gains persistent. I think this goes on to him, and he stays here. That's, I think, what's happening here. Kind of a weird interaction, but it does make sense to an extent. So the next thing that I'd really like to do is get Vera to just take me across the lake in one step. I'm not sure that she's too super willing to do that, but we'll see what we can do. What I might want to do is do that big fitness strider test up here and play my walk with me so that I can just say, here, come with me. Just do this for me. But I do have to succeed at that by 3 if I were to do that. So I do have to consider how much fitness I want to put into that. And I think that now is the time to do this just because this is a trail. I might not be able to use this anywhere else. I don't know where other trails even are. And it might be better to hold it for later, but I think I'd just as soon use it. That being said, before I use that, what I would like to do is play my Paths We've Roamed Before for 2 awareness. And what I want to do is put back a Paths We've Roamed Before, an Eagle Eye, and definitely a Compassionate, and I think even my other Eagle Eye. I think the Eagle Eye is just way too good of a card not to be playing over and over like this. It does tax me on how often I can use Paths We've Roamed Before, but I do just want to be able to do that. So I think that what I want to do is have 1 Eagle Eye and 1 Paths We've Roamed Before. Actually, no, you know what? I can just do this. I like this order because I'm going to sue the fatigue anyways, so I get to put an Eagle Eye straight to my hand. I really like that. I really like that. So we'll soothe that fatigue right away, and then this Paths We've Roamed Before will head to my discard pile. That feels really nice. So now what did I say I was going to do, right? I guess I may as well eat my trail mix while I have 3 fitness and just restore the rest of this, right? Oh, man, that is a really good little combo. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. I don't need my fitness for anything else this turn because I don't need to do an Afforded by Nature. So I'm just going to spend all my fitness and toss this Strider into this just to get this done and get out of here. So let's do, what is this, 6 against the White Sky. I may as well read Strider. I don't know that I've used it yet. From the day you took your first steps, you haven't stopped moving. Your heart yearns to scale distant peaks and wander untrodden vistas. You continually look towards the horizon, never content to sit still. It's kind of funny that it mentions wandering untrodden vistas when I can only really commit this to a trail, which is, presumably something that someone's walked before, but whatever. I'm not going to be too picky. -2 fitness. Okay, well, I do get 4. And then when I spend my spirits, I'll be placing 4 progress on Vera there. But that's I gotta say that's pretty rough. So we get the 4 on there. I spend my 1 spirit to play my walk with me after you succeeded a traverse test, which I think is before I do my sun effects. I add that to her, and that clears her. And then I'm just going to take this fatigue now from the sun so I don't forget it. But I definitely have to take a fatigue from that sun. So let's go read 49. Ooh, maybe I don't have to take a fatigue from that sun. Hold on. Let's see what 49 does before I go too much further. Because I think that technically the order doesn't do that. Because the order of a test is choose the test, commit the effort, apply modifiers, determine success. I'm assuming that this walk with me is during determining success, not like after the whole test. That's, again, this is how I played it in the last scenario, and hopefully if I'm playing that wrong, someone will let me know in the comments in the previous video, which I haven't sat around on long enough to see. But I'm pretty sure that this is when you play it. And then resolving the challenge effects. So if I get to play it first, then I don't actually have to suffer this fatigue necessarily, right? If I travel? I don't know. We'll see. Clear her, 49.5. You move down the shore and find Vera cleaning the deck of her longboat. She looks up and sighs. You ready? You may immediately end the round and travel to one of the following locations: Lone Tree Station, Golden Shore, or Atrox Mountain. Use the lakefront terrain type when building the path deck. If you choose to travel in this way, discard the current challenge card and do not resolve the remainder of this test. Oh, perfect. It tells you explicitly to not finish the test. That being said, I assume I do still shuffle this, so I'm probably going to do that. So yeah, we have to do our normal travel rules, which is going to be getting rid of both of them. And she's probably going to be staying out of the deck because she's from White Sky. And I do have to keep all of my Lakeshore things because of the fact that I used the Lakeshore. But Artel is definitely staying in play. So what I'm doing is going straight from Lake Sky up to the Golden Shore. And I believe because this is not one of these pivotal locations, I have to include 3 random cards from the just general Valley set, which can be quite a few different things. And you know what? Before I go too far, it just occurred to me that I definitely cleared 1 Romping Lutrinol today. He ate a Tidewater Muckets, and that takes 0. That has 0 presence. And so at least these should technically be set aside up by lure. But I did not do anything else, right? That's right. I didn't do anything else. And it's occurring to me that I don't think you can get him from this deck alone, right? They don't have enough presence. You need to get 5 presents, so you have to walk away from a lakeshore to be able to do that. But anyways, those are set aside. 1 Lutrinol and 1 Tidewater Muckets are set aside, and I have to go find that set. So here's that extra set that 3 cards have to be shuffled in from. We'll just do that really quickly. I did not shuffle this ahead of time, so they would have been in order of unpackaging. Minus maybe Kisi Voss, because she's the only one I think that I've grabbed out of here so far. And it's really hard. I cannot get over how hard it is to shuffle a really small deck. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We'll shuffle those in. Now that did tell me to end the round, so I'm pretty sure that I should clear up all these, regain all my energy, and go into this round fresh at this new location, which would have added 1 more cloud up here and flipped the midday sun to be a perfect day. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that sounds right to me. And when I arrive at the Golden Shore, I need to read entry 12. If Artel is in play, go to 12.1. Artel nods approvingly. Look, that little tucked away spot under those trees? It definitely feels better, don't you think? Nothing spooking the fish around here, I can tell. Our towel pulls one of the several collapsible fishing poles out of a long conical tube. Here, never let it be said that I don't pay my debts. Besides, how many vaulting rods does one person need? Gain the Artel's vaulting rod reward card. Discard Artel, return helping hand to the collection, and record found the perfect fishing spot on the campaign tracker. Now, I don't think I get to add that to my deck or anything right at this very second, but I'm going to be honest, that's the first reward card that we've unlocked. I'm going to go take a look and let's see what it does. So Artel's Vaulting Rod is a 1 fitness with only 1 fitness requirement, so that's fine. We get to do that. It's a gear tech with aid, so I can add tokens to this with Pakoto. It has 3 icons. What is it again? Conflict, Reason, and Exploration. It does take 3 of my gear slots, but it comes with 2 vaults. You can exhaust to use a vault to exhaust an obstacle. Wow, that's really good. When there are no vaults on this gear, you discard it, and then you can do an awareness and conflict test to fish with a difficulty 2. And if there's a water card, if there is a water card in play, to soothe 2 fatigue and add 2 progress to a water card. Wow, that is that's really cool. Actually, I kind of like that. That's neat. I don't know, but there's anything. I don't know, but I'm removing anything from my deck to make room for this. But it definitely seems like an interesting bit of tech almost, right? If I'm finding it difficult to get through obstacles in a specific area that has water, then this can just be like a really easy way to drop in 1 fit and be out of there. So that's really cool. I like that. And it's nice that it self-discards so that it doesn't gum up your gear forever. I mean, I think you get to play over your gear when it's full up, but it's nice that, you can just kind of churn through it and not worry about that. So I'm just going to shove this up here right off camera, and we'll be keeping that in mind. We'll be keeping that in mind going forward. So that's nice. We got that helping hand quest done right away. That's awesome. So we do still want to get Lure at some point, but I guess now we're up here at the Golden Shore, where we have to draw a path card as the lead ranger, and at the start of the round also draw a path card. So we got a Romping Lutrinol right away to fatigue us. And then this flips over, and then we get a Tributary Stream, which is the other obstacle. So that's a little annoying, but it's really not that bad, to be honest. This is Uvis is another trail, and it has Spirit and Reason to contemplate 2. Contemplate the rhythmic waves as they lap the glittering shoreline to soothe the fatigue for every 2 effort. We only need 3 progress to get out of here. So I think maybe what we'll be trying to do is maybe we'll see if we can wrap up at the Golden Shore real quick and head straight to the Northern Outpost, because I might be able to get some higher presence beings to lure out to lure quiet out. Yeah, there we go. So let's see what we need to do. I guess first things first, we need to get rid of the Tributary Stream. That can't stay, which is fine, right? We do have, we have the Compassion. We can do the Soak, and that's not a big deal. Another thing that we could do is try to do that focus and follow the cheerily winding stream. Again, to get a free token up there using our focus. That's the only thing we really get to use our focus on aside from scouting our deck. And to be honest, I don't want to scout my deck. We don't have many turns left in the day, right? This is how many turns we have, less the amount of fatigue that I take in the interim. So I would like to not do that. So maybe what I do in that case, I'd like to clear the Lutrinol just to get it up into the progress for Lure, but if I can't, then that's not that big of a deal. I'm also just remembering now that technically if I dodge an obstacle, it does still allow me to interact with the thing behind it. And so it might behoove me to just try to clear out of here by using a Leaf in the Breeze to run. That's another option. I don't think it's necessarily the best option, but it's an option. I think what I'm going to start off with is using my Undaunted Seeker to dodge a card, the Lutronol, to try the focus, the determined focus test to follow the cheerily winding stream, to move my Ranger token to this feature and add a progress to the location. So I am going to shuffle this because I'm pretty sure that I was supposed to still shuffle this after that last test I took, which I of course forgot to do. But anyways, I'm going to be 4 against a difficulty of 2, and we'll see how that turns out with a focus. That is a 0, so that's fine. We get all of our... We get to move this up here, no problem. We get to add 1 to the location, and then we look for sun effects all the way back. If there's another Romping Lutronol, that does not happen. This clears. This goes away. The next thing that I would like to consider is maybe just trying to dodge this and just walk past it with my basic fitness. I feel like that's kind of the quickest way to move through this day, to use up the least amount of my resources. So I'm gonna just do that. I'm gonna do a double to try to evade that guy. And I think I'm just gonna commit my Iron Wool Boots to it just in case I can't. I draw the single -2 awareness. No, I get the -1 awareness, which would have succeeded, but the Iron Wool Boots isn't super useful otherwise. So we'll just get rid of that. He's exhausted. We do get the sun, but again, that's not affecting anything. This is only if another Lutronol is in play that they start playing with each other in the reeds. While I'm at it, I may as well use my 2 against Picoto here to try and get a little more progress tokens on him. That's a 0, so that lets me get 2 on him. And again, there's no sun effects in play as of right now. And the last thing that I would like to do is just dump all of my fitness into attempting to get out of the Golden Shore. We only need... It's tricky. I guess we technically... I guess I don't mind if I stick around for 1 more turn. 1 more path card isn't going to kill me. I'm going to be able to dodge it anyways. So let's just give that a go. And we got a +1. So whatever. Literally doesn't matter. We get our 4 up here, I guess, right? From having succeeded at that. I guess there's an argument to be made to just like move this over using Picoto and also getting a free aid on my trail mix, right? I may as well do that. I don't think there's any harm in just doing that. I haven't played any actions this turn to do that. So that's going to be the end of that turn. I'm going to rest and we're going to travel. So because we're exceeding the threshold, we just get to do the traveling, which is going to move us up. As I mentioned, we're going to be building a path deck with the northern outpost and the woods. And we're just going to say, fuck it, the Lutronol doesn't get to come with us as bait for quiet, because we'll try and go find someone else. So Artel's got to go away, and the entire rest of this deck. Ooh, look at that. We would have had Umbra. That would have been scary. But the entire rest of the lakefront can now go away, and we'll be going to get the woods again. All right, so we've arrived in the northern outpost. The hike through the dark and gloomy woods has taken you hours, but finally reach the northern outpost. So we have to read one of these options. If we fixed up the northern outpost, which we haven't, it says read. Scraps of wood, cloth, leather, and paneling lie scattered about the exterior. After long years of neglect, the forest around seems to press in on the outpost from all sides. Search the northern outpost set for the deep woods and put it into play. Well, I just shuffled that into the deck. If you haven't gained or completed the Search Lun mission, read the following. You find a note tacked to the door. It reads, I went to go investigate a strange presence in the forest. Be back by the full moon. If I'm not, I'm probably in trouble. Lun. You step inside, but it's deserted. The note said Lun should have been back days ago. Sounds like he probably needs help. The Rangers must choose to search for Lund, gain the Search Lund mission, record 94.7 3 days from now on the campaign tracker. You may choose this option only if you don't have another search or rescue mission, or not today. Record 94.7 3 days from now on the campaign tracker. Do not add Lund to the path deck. Okay, well, I mean, I'm just gonna do that, right? Like I may as well. So let's look for Lund. So 3 days from now. So if we're on day 2, it's 1, 2, 3, presumably. So 90. Fuck off. 94.7 there, and we gain the search on day 2. Search Lund. Now, presumably, I have to go fetch him from in here again. Yeah, see, I gotta find him. So we'll go find the search mission as well. Now, the Lund search mission, search mission side, you are following the trail of a missing local. If your current location is not a ranger station, I have no idea. Is this one? It is. Okay. When a feature comes into play, place 2 trail tokens on it. When a card with trail tokens on it is cleared, place those tokens on this card. Okay. Have 4 per ranger or more trail tokens on this mission and read 1.45. And then we've got a bunch of challenge effects here. They must have come this way as a sun. Move a trail token from a feature to another feature. Mountain, the trail goes cold. Remove a trail token from a feature. And the urgency of the task weighs on you. Suffer 1 fatigue. Yikes. That's nasty. I mean, next, I guess we also have to read this entry 40 on the Deep Woods since that entered play, right? The evergreen woods of the northern mountains consist of massive, rotting cedars intermixed with silver firs draped in hanging moss. No light filters down from the canopy, leaving the forest floor a gloomy cathedral, crowded with tree trunks and lichen-covered rocks. You can't see more than a few meters ahead, and all around you, the forest seems completely quiet. And then we also have to resolve the arrival setup, which is drawing 1 path card, which is an overgrown thicket, which is an obstacle, which just needs 2 to clear, which is fine. And now, after we've completed all of those travel steps, now we have to refresh. So this is going to go down to 2. It is still a perfect day. We're going to ready everything up. We're going to get all of our energy back. We're going to draw 1 card, which is a Leaf in the Breeze, which is really nice that we get to... oh, right. This also flips, doesn't it? Forgot about that. Now, Northern Outpost is a location pivotal... Oh, it is a ranger station. Okay. And it has 2 neglect on it. Interesting. Focus and reason to tidy, to discard a neglect. If you fail, it fatigues you. Ooh. It's tough to get out of here, too. It's got 2 presents. So that's a tricky way to... It's tricky to get out of here. Okay. So that's that. And at the top of the round, finally, we do still get a card here at the top of the round. So let's see what that is. A Sitka Buck. Now, he's a 1 presence guy. He's a little annoying, but he's not too bad. Whew, okay, that was a lot. That was quite a lot. So I guess the thing to keep in mind is that while I'm searching for Lund, I am at a ranger station, so like this didn't come into play with 2 trail tokens on it. So I can't progress this here. I have to go somewhere else to progress this. Which is nasty because, you know, this is something that I'm going to have every day, and these crest icons are suddenly a lot more threatening. So we're going to have to be a little bit more careful, I suppose. There's a lot I need to do to get out of here. This is really nasty. I gotta say, I'm pretty glad that I got the Artel's Vaulting Rod quest complete. That was nice to do on this first day. I'm a little concerned I'm not getting anything else done today. but more because like I'm personally quite tired and it's quite late here and I've been recording for quite a while. But I think I'm just gonna like try to stick it out and see how much I can get done today. And so maybe I can try to focus on getting quiet. And if the search just fatigues me out with this crest effect, then that's just too bad. That's just too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 1 awareness to play an Eagle Eye, to scout 3 path cards and choose and draw 1. And what I'm looking for is the Bucks, and that's it. So we're going to put this Prowling Wolfhound away because he is a predator. He is not a prey. But we're going to get another Buck into play because I would like the Bucks on a Sun to both damage one another. I think that'd be really cute. So we're going to put the Wolfhound on the bottom, and we're going to put the Buck on top and have him enter play in front of me. So that feels really, really clever. After that, the Iron Wool Boots restores my fatigue here, which gives me a Breathe Into It. And a Breathe Into It's really nice because it does actually let me do this tidying, but I'm going to have to fuck around with Paths We've Roamed Before a bunch of times to get my fatigue pile full without it coming from my deck. That's the only way that's going to happen. So I think what I want to do now is maybe try to, for 1 awareness, use a Leaf and a Breeze to dodge the Deep Woods. Well, I guess I don't need to dodge that, right? Still, I would like to dodge both of the Sitka Bucks, so that I can try and get some progress on this Overgrown Thicket. So I'm going to use all of my fitness up to try and just get that one out of the way. So we'll do that. We'll be 3 against the difficulty of 1, and what do we get? We get a 0. Okay, cool. So we get to place 2 progress on that, which does clear it, right? That's nice. The obstacle is gone. And then we go through with our mountain effects. If it add that, we add an additional one, but it's already cleared. Exhaust this feature, search the path deck for the next predator and put it into play. Ooh, yuck. So the Deep Woods hits there, and then I believe I just like look at cards until I hit a predator, and it just enters play. And then I think a shuffle happens. Yeah, I do have to shuffle the deck, which is a bummer because that means that Wolfhound is no longer on the bottom. But that's okay. Not a big deal. Okay, so that's that. And then we keep moving. If there's an active predator, exhaust it to add 2 to it, and then add 1 to this being equal to that predator's presence. Or add, oh, Jesus, okay. And then if there's an active predator, exhaust it to add 2, but I think that I don't do that because of that double arrow effect. So that's actually kind of nice. That's not too bad. He's exhausted, so I'm not too worried about him. Okay, so what do I have left? I just have some more connect. So let's just use these to try and get some more connection on Pakoto. 2 against 1. We get a +1, so we get to add 3 to him. But we do draw the crest, which means we get the fatigue, and then nothing else. But the fatigue is a bit of a problem. That's the urgency of the task weighs on you. So that's a little poopy. But that could have been worse, I guess. I'm going to just go ahead and spend 1 of these off of Pakoto to once again place an aid on my trail mix. And we'll go ahead and place 2 progress on the Buck that's a bit less progressed, I guess. That's fine. And I don't have anything to do with this focus, so we'll just end that round. So, everything readies up. I get my energy back. I draw 1 card. It's my versatile, which I kind of don't want to fatigue anything. This loses 1, and I get a new path card for the round. It is a Sunberry Bramble. So I'm pretty gummed up with stuff right here. What I really want to do is try a bunch of tests to see if I can get these guys to finish one another off. But the more tests I do, the trickier it is to actually get any of that done. So I'm going to go ahead and do a paths we've roamed before to put 4 things back into my fatigue pile. And I'm going to take a paths we roamed before. I'm going to take a determined to get some more icons from that. I am going to take an eagle eye, and I think I'm going to take a walk with me as a way to just dump a bunch of progress onto a being. And all of these are going to go into my discard or into my fatigue pile. And I think I'm just going to add the paths we've walked before right on top, so that the iron wool boots adds that back to my hand, and then that paths we walked before goes into the discard pile. Okay. And then I'm going to use one of my trail mix to restore fatigue, soothe fatigue, the number of fit in my energy pool, which is 3. So I just get all of those back to my hand. And I'm happy with that because I do have the 3 fatigue, so he'd be a little threatening there. But that gets me that determined, it gets me the eagle eye. All of that's pretty nice. The Sunbury Bramble is a feature, so if I were to travel to that, I'd be able to use a walk with me to place a bunch of progress as well. So that's definitely something I'm considering. But I think I need to do some other tests first. And the reason I want to do other tests first is because I would very much like to pull a mountain so that these guys are all kicking each other's ass or whatever. Or a sun to make these 2 headbutt. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my 1 fitness in a determined. Your goal is in sight. You draw upon a deep well of inner strength to try to traverse this Sunbury Bramble, because it's a feature. So it's a 3 against a difficulty of 1. There's nothing in between us, so I'm not getting fatigued by anything. So 3 against 1. Ooh. Aha, I was supposed to shuffle last time and I didn't. That's nice because I would have just gotten a -2 and barely done anything. +1 fitness instead. Cool. So I place 3, 4 on that. And when I place the 4 on that, I think that's when I play the walk with me. Again, I don't quite remember, but after you succeeded a traverse test, add progress to a being equal to your effort. Oh, but I don't have to because I pulled the sun. That's nice, actually. So let's not do that. I'm going to clear this and then do the challenge effects. So nothing else happens from these challenge effects, but this. If there's another active Sitka Buck, exhaust this being. Add 2 to both this and the other Sitka Buck. So this one takes 2, which is going to defeat it, and this one's going to take 2, but I'm not going to exhaust this one. No, I'm going to exhaust this one so that this one is not, it's not something I need to deal with like this turn. And then this guy goes up as one of my prey for the lure there. Now I do want to get rid of this Prowling Wolfhound somehow. Somehow, some way, I'd love to get rid of him. Oh, I guess though, what I could have done was maybe I do play the walk with me, but I put it on the Wolfhound instead. Yeah, no, I like that. Because look what that does, right? I play 1 with the walk with me to get 4 on him, and then I just use 1 from Pakoto to add another aid to there, put 2 on him, and that just clears him. And he's dealt with. I like that a lot. That really clears the board up for me to get to do some other more useful things. Because now I actually have time to try and clear this deep woods so I can get into the northern forest. Because that's going to be bogging me down pretty bad. Now that being said, I don't have very good odds of actually passing that test. Right now, I'm going to need a lot more. I'm probably going to need to use my awareness and a hide to get there, right? which admittedly is only a difficulty of 1 because that's the only thing. It doesn't say what the difficulty is, and apparently the difficulty is 1 if it doesn't say what the difficulty is. So that's fine. But I do need to get my awareness from next turn. I don't have it this turn. So is there anything that I can really meaningfully do for the rest of my turn? I don't really think so. I suppose I could just try to connect with the buck to try and get rid of him. I kind of don't want to pull a bunch of extra stuff at the same time. Oh, and when I played the walk with me, I suppose I should have healed this fatigue, eh? And that's my other walk with me. That's kind of cute. I wonder if after you play a moment, after you succeeded a traverse test, like I'd still be in the same window that I could have used this to place another 4 on him. Do you know what I mean? I kind of feel like maybe that's a thing that could have existed, but it's fine. I'm already past that. I think I'm just going to end the turn. Just call that the turn done. Restore my energy. I'll get hiding in here next turn. And then maybe I can... Oh, I see. Oh, no, I was messing this up. Look, while your ranger icon's on this feature, you can use the following response. When a being fatigues you, you may add any number of damage to this injury to this feature to prevent an equal amount of fatigue. Okay. What I should have done was prioritize doing this test earlier, and if this were up here, I could just be testing past these guys and putting all of it as damage on the woods to get rid of it quicker. That's my bad. I really didn't pay close enough attention to what that said it was doing. So I'm probably going to fatigue out now that it's the midday sun, but we'll see. It could not happen, I suppose. I do need to draw a card, which is my next Picoto. Another Sunberry Bramble, which is nice to see. I suppose I might just want to play an Eagle Eye, right? I kind of want to play an Eagle Eye, but I also really want to get up to here. Do I have enough icons to maybe pull that off? I think so. That should be all right. Maybe what I'll do... Yeah, that's kind of hateful, isn't it? I think I will play the Eagle Eye first. 1 for an Eagle Eye. Scout 3 path cards, then draw 1 path card. The Trick of the Light, the Caustic Mulcher, and another Sitka Buck. So I'd like the other Sitka Buck pretty badly. The Mulcher's going to the bottom. The Trick of the Light. What is that? Oh, that's so weird. I mean, sure, we'll leave him on underneath the buck, but we'll draw the buck and put that mulcher on the bottom. Fuck that guy. The mulcher is a nightmare to deal with. I dealt with him once in the demo, and it sucked so bad. I have 3 presents in front of me. I would really like to get this hide done. But I also just want to take a test to see if I can get one of these guys to knock one another out, or if I can get the active prey to knock one another out and to eat this bramble up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a test to try and connect with the more injured buck. Sorry, the less injured buck. And then I'm going to commit this compassionate to it. And what I'm trying to do is get some progress on it so that maybe Picoto can finish him off. But if not, maybe I'll get a test that'll help them all clear one another out. So I'm going to be 4 against 1. I do get the -1, so that's a 3. So I get to put 3 progress on him, which is a little painful, but it's not too bad. And then we go through with the sun icons. So I do suffer fatigue from the midday sun. I don't do anything from the search. And then if there's another active Sitka Buck, you exhaust this being and add 2 to both. So let's do it on this one and finish this guy off, which will shove him up into the lure. Now I only have 3. I don't know that I have another prey in this deck. I don't quite know where that stands. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and use Picoto, exhausting him to put 2 on here and clear this one as well, which is also going to put him up into there, so I've got 4 of the 5 I need. Now I can use my awareness with as a traversal test to try to get up here. I will exhaust myself to dodge the sunberry brambles. And let's put something into this test. I've got to be able to put something into this test. Let's put the Picoto in. And maybe even a leaf in the breeze. To get 2 up. That would put me 3 against 1. I think I'm okay with that. Okay, I got a 0. That's fine. So I do get to move this to the feature. And then I look through for mountain effects. I exhaust this and search the path deck for the next predator and put it into play. That is not a predator. That is not a predator. That prowling wolfhound is a predator. But the nice thing is now that when a being fatigues me, I can prevent any number of that and put it as damage on the deep woods. So now I can just like do stuff past him and not worry too much about it. That's kind of nice. But the mulcher's in here, and that's really scary too. So I guess now what do I do, right? I guess I try to use my fitness to get past the sunberry bramble just to try and get rid of it as best I can. I don't see that super happening right now, but we'll see. So we're 3 against 1. I get the -1, which means I only put 2 progress on it. But that's not that big of a deal. 2 progress and mountains. There's no mountains. This is only looking for active prey to exhaust it and do the effect. So we at least got to do that. And I really don't want to use my last reason or my last focus. I've only got 6 remaining here. Probably less because of the midday sun. But I think that's the end of that turn unless I want this in my hand with my trail mix. No, I'll have to do that next round because I don't have any fitness right now. So let's clean up the exhaustion. Let's get our energy back out. We'll put 1 up here and we'll draw a new card. It is the Sitka Doe. That is a prey. I would very much like to get that up in the display here and travel and see if I can get quiet dealt with like super fast. I don't think I'll be able to, but we'll see. Okay. I did forget to draw. Another breathe into it. I guess what I really would like to do is maybe use my paths we've roamed before to get some cards in my discard. No, but then I'll take injuries from the prowling wolfhound. So if I interact with this, I'm going to be taking 4 fatigue, and I can't manage that. So I need to get rid of this sunberry bramble first. That's the big thing, is this sunberry bramble absolutely needs to go. The other thing is that the wolfhound will just kill the doe if I pull a mountain. And that's fine. I guess I'll use the trail mix now to get this card back. It's Strider. Okay, fine. That's not useful right now. But I guess I could like... I guess technically I could like attempt to travel here with my fitness and dodge the sunberry bramble, and it would like deal 3 damage to this, and then also just do a test up there. I don't think that's necessarily bad. It's kind of wasting my turn a little bit, but like I kind of need to do something. Something needs to happen to get this turn progressing. I'm just trying to figure out what that is. Okay, I don't think I'm using my awareness for either Eagle Eye or Paths We've Roamed. I don't think I'm using it, sorry, for an Avoid or for Eagle Eye. So I think it's okay to use this for the Paths We've Roamed, but I don't want to do that until I know that the Wolfhound is at least exhausted, or I'm not pulling injuries. Ugh. This is a really tricky little set of situations here, I guess. I could just like dump tons of stuff in my hand into getting the doe, But again, not great use of anything else. So I'm just going to go ahead, dodge the bramble, put 3 into going to the deep woods. And we'll just see if we can get any progress on that 3 against 3. I probably can't, but I mean, we'll see, right? So he's supposed to fatigue me, but I'm going to have a response to add damage to this instead. And then he's supposed to fatigue me, and I'll do a response to add a damage to that instead. So it's half dealt with. And then I get... All right, I'm not quite sure what happened, but I had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. And I did finish the day, but about 12 minutes or so of gameplay was remaining and it didn't work. So I'm just going to re-record it from where it crashed, and we'll go from there. Now, I was just in the middle of attempting this deep woods test with 3 fit to traverse here, and I was dodging the Sunberry Bramble and allowing the Sitka Doe and the Prowling Wolfhound to fatigue me, and using the response on the deep woods to place 3 fatigue. And the result of that test is a 0 fitness, which places 3 progress on the deep woods, but has the negative consequence of this mountain challenge effect. So we have to exhaust this feature, search the path deck for the next predator and put it into play. An overgrown thicket, the trick of the light, the carrion mulcher, or caustic mulcher, and another prowling wolfhound. So if there's another predator in play, this predator comes into play exhausted. So that's certainly a problem, but hopefully not one that isn't insurmountable. So we'll just go ahead and see what we can do there. So that's all of my fitness used up for the turn. So that's that one. And then if there's an active prey, you exhaust it and add progress to it and damage to this feature equal to that prey's presence. And then finally, if there's an active predator, you exhaust that predator to add damage to this being equal to that predator's presence. So that's going to exhaust this Prowling Wolfhound and unfortunately, well, no, actually, fortunately, get this Sitka Doe out of play. And the reason that's nice is that actually gets us our last prey out of play for attempting to do lure quiet. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen because we have so little time left in the day. I'm fairly certain I've kind of reconstructed everything correctly. I only had 6 cards left in my deck, and a pretty full discard pile here. So now I'm looking at what else can even be done this turn. And it's not looking great. I don't have fitness to remove the Sunberry Bramble. I'll have to let these wolfhounds do some other things. The only thing I can really think of is maybe playing a Paths We've Roamed Before to fill my fatigue pile up. I guess another option would be playing a Walk With Me to get a bunch of progress onto one of the wolfhounds. And that might be necessary. And in fact, I think that's definitely something I should consider looking at. We're going to go ahead and play one, and we're going to say that for the 3 progress we got to put on there, we're going to put another 3 progress on from this one. And I think that not doing that is going to be a little bit too detrimental. The last thing that we can reasonably do this turn, I suppose, is play a Paths We've Roamed Before for 2 awareness. And we'll take a look and see in our discard pile what we can possibly take. Now, Determines would be really good if we want to just dump everything into a test to get out of here and end this day without, risking a bunch of injuries from these guys. That's not unreasonable. I'd really like to travel away so that we could get quiet started, but I'm not anticipating that being an option. So what I'm thinking is that maybe I take both of these Walk With Me's, and I take a Determined and a Determined, and I try and just get the hell out of Dodge. That's probably the right idea. I don't know if it's the best idea, but I think it's the right idea. So we'll go ahead and just do it in that order, And then the iron wool boots will trigger when the pads we've roamed before hits my discard pile to soothe 1 fatigue with one of these walk with me's back into my hand. And that pretty much eats up the entire round. I think that I will use Pakoto here to place 2 progress on one of the Wolfhounds. I think I'm going to try and put it on this one to spread the love out a little bit. I don't know that I love this idea. No, you know what? Yeah, no, I think this is okay. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'll have both of the walk with me's soon, and I'll be able to like do a travel, maybe dodge one of them, suffer a little bit of fatigue, but then use Pakoto and the walk with me's to just clear them all out of the way in case that doesn't work. And that way I'm pretty well cleared up for the next round. So that's the end of that round. We'll get all of our energy back. We'll ready everything. There's a lot going on the board right now. Draw a card from the top of the deck. It's the boundary sensor, which, I mean, to be fair, I don't know. That would have been really useful a lot earlier, I think. That's a real shame to hit this right towards the end of the day. I think I've got another one in here as well. But we get 1 cloud up on the midday sun. And then we're drawing a path card, aren't we? Okay, let's see what we've got. Caustic Mulcher. Okay. That is a real problem. So let's think about what can even be done here. That's real tricky. I guess the nice thing is that the Mulcher might be able to grab these Wolfhounds away from me. So what I'm going to do first, obviously, is eat one of my trail mix and return these to my hand. So at the very least, I've got a whole bunch of walk with me. If I can do a really big traversal, I can probably just dump him away. But I'm not convinced that's happening this round. I suppose maybe I should have... Thinking about what the risk was here, because I knew that there was a Wolfhound and an obstacle and one of those quests. Maybe this Relief in the Breeze would have been a better thing to add to hand, especially now that I didn't return a paths we've roamed before. But I think that's okay. We can dodge him, and we can even what we can even do is we can try a dodge on him to exhaust him, and as we're doing an avoid on him, all of these guys would be fatiguing us. I can dodge one with the Undaunted Seeker, and I can put well, I can't put all the fatigue up here in the Deep Woods, but I can put 3 of the 4 that these guys would be dealing to me up onto the Deep Woods. So I don't mind that, and I think that's kind of, that's the way out of here that I'm seeing right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do a 2 awareness evade. I don't really care for the Eagle Eye right now, so I'm really just not looking at that at all as a usable thing. A thorough, and even a breathe into it, just in case I get the -2 awareness, because I'm pretty sure the odds of that are technically possible. And I don't have much else to do with my awareness this round. So, like I said, I'm going to dodge the Sunberry Bramble, which will make me not interact with it, and then both of them are going to fatigue me. The first one is going to fatigue me for 2 up here, and then the other one is going to fatigue me for 1, and then 1. Because I can prevent an equal number of fatigue using this. So that clears the Deep Wood, which is nice. Having that cleared is definitely something we need to do to be able to get to the Northern Outpost. So that's the effects of the fatigue happening. Let's do the test. This is like 5 against 3. We got the +1 on that. We got the mountain effect again. But that's all right. So he's exhausted. We use up all of our awareness, and these are in the discard pile now, but he is exhausted, and that is at least okay. What I think I'm going to do now is... Okay, I think I see what I'm doing this turn. What I would like to do is travel to the Sunberry Bramble to try and get it eaten up. Clear as many of these guys as I can. And then next round... Ooh, next round though. I dislike next round because this is so empty. I know that it's either a quest thing or an obstacle. And if it's an obstacle, I can't get past it. Okay, here's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling 1 fitness for my boundary sensor, and that comes into play with 4 uses. And what I'm going to do for the rest of this turn is use my 2 fitness and 1 of these uses to do a 3 against 1 test against the Sunberry Bramble. And I think that that's mostly just what I'm going to have to do to try and get past this. So it's 3 against 1. I got the 0 on that. That's really nice. So I get to place 3 here, and I get to play 1 walk with me to place 3 on this guy, which will discard him or clear him. And then I get to play another walk with me. Also that one will restore this fatigue, which is a compassionate, to place 3 more on this guy. That's going to clear the Sunberry Bramble as well as a result of the successful use there. Okay, I like that. And then, are there any mountain effects in play? No, none trigger. I can use Picoto to move 2 over here and restore a use to my trail mix, removing the other Prowling Wolfhound from play. And now I'm in a situation where all I have is my blue, but that's not that big of a deal, I don't think. Whoops, the Sunberry Bramble got put to the wrong discard pile. That's my bad. But that's okay, because look, I have 2 determines. I can maybe dodge him next turn or the obstacle if I need to. I can maybe evade him next turn if I need to. First, I'll have an Eagle Eye and a Breathe Into It to put into that test. I think I can get out of here. So we'll at least be able to end the day without, you know, like fatiguing out or taking injuries unduly. So that's that round, I suppose. So everything readies. Get my energy back. I like this boundary sensor because it lets me spend 1 fitness earlier to be able to do a 4 fitness test later without putting anything into it from my hand. But anyways, my other trail mix, which again, I tried to reconstruct this as best I can. I might have already drawn that. I don't remember. This goes up to 3, which flips it from the midday sun back to the perfect day, which is nice. And then we're at the top of the round again, which is going to see the Overgrown Thicket. Okay, perfect. That's perfectly fine because this isn't inhibiting me, and I can just try and evade and avoid on the Caustic Mulcher, and then maybe just get out of here. That's what I'm hoping to be able to do. If I can do it, I can do it. If I can't do it, I can't do it, I guess. So it's what we're going to try. Don't have anything to return, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it a go. Yeah. So we're going to put in an Eagle Eye and a Trail Mix and all of my awareness into evading the Caustic Mulcher, or avoiding the Caustic Mulcher, I should say. So that'll be a 4 against 3. Do I have another icon I can put into it? I'll even put the Breathe into it to get 5 against 3. That's the 0. So that succeeds at evading him. And he is exhausted. And now we are looking for the sun effects, so nothing happens. But this does, if there's another active being, exhausted and attach it to his biomeld. If not, move your ranger token to this. So he's attached to, he's trying to eat Picoto, but we're gonna try and get out of here. It doesn't say if he's active or anything. No, I think that just triggers, so long as, if there is another active being, if not, move that to it. Add 1 to each attached with this biomeld. If I draw a crest, rangers with their ranger token on this biomeld suffer an injury. Okay, so at this point, I'm mostly just trying to get the hell out of Dodge. So We're going to dodge the overgrown thicket. He's exhausted, so he doesn't contribute his... he doesn't contribute anything to inhibiting us. And we'll toss in some determines, 1 fitness, and a boundary sensor. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 2. Is there anything else I can do to put a little bit of extra effort into this? Failing will fatigue me. 6 against 2. I guess I guess what I could do is I could put these versatiles in and fatigue myself with them. Is there any risk of me getting fatigued as a result of anything I do in the test? I don't think so, so I'm just going to do that. We get the +1, so that doesn't matter. We absolutely dump loads of stuff on this. Do I still have to remove the overgrown thicket to travel, though? I do. That wasn't very clever of me, was it? Okay, well, I think I'm just fatiguing out then, and like whatever, if that doesn't work. But I mean, we'll give it a go, right? We'll try to clear this and see if we can. So we do get the sun effect, which I think puts this up here onto him. You cannot travel, and this on your biomode cannot be moved except by this test, fitness, and that to wrestle yourself free from him. Okay, so I think that actually I'm stuck, which is kind of funny. I guess I'll use my trail mix to eat these 2 cards and see if I can unstick myself. A Strider and a boundary sensor, that doesn't help. So I think, is there a way for me to like force myself to get fatigued out? I don't think so. Can I force myself to be fatigued? I really don't see anything to be able to do that. So maybe I'll just use my my focus and this afforded by nature. Oh, these should have shuffled to try to draw this last card and just force the day ending at the end of the round by running out of cards to draw. That's probably the best idea. Standing around on this caustic mulcher seems like a absolutely terrible idea. I would love that to not happen. So what have I got? I've got a 0. So I get to look at this top card and either add it to my hand or not, and I'll add it to my hand. The sun icon still isn't doing anything. And then I guess I'll just end my turn, right? So everything readies. I don't travel because unfortunately this obstacle is in the way and I'm attached to the mulcher. I get all my stuff back, and then when I go to draw at the end of the round, that ends the day. Okay, so the day ends there. I don't know where I put my pen, but I got to check off this day on this. We did end up getting, obviously, Artel's Vaulting Rod today. That was really nice. We'll see about how we can get that into our deck. I think maybe you can do that while you're resting, but I'll double check that off camera. So we're up here at the Northern Outpost. We've got a few days to try and find Lund, the Outpost trader. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do anything with the lure, despite having had enough guys. We just couldn't get away in time. Getting quiet might be something that's more of a long-term goal than anything else, but we'll see what happens. Glad that I didn't have to stick around on this mulcher for too much longer. And I think that maybe the objective for tomorrow is going to be getting out of the Northern Outpost as fast as possible, and then either heading to Atrox Mountain or to Mount Nim in order to try and clear this search for Lun. I feel like maybe being off to Atrox Mountain is a better idea. I know that the mountain's kind of tricky, if I recall correctly, but also I think it's well suited to being a high fitness character. So maybe I'll take a travel down to Mount Nim, and if need be, I'll just walk right back once I've found Lun. So that's that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.